He raised his glass before I could stop my hand from tightening around mine. Crystal clinked. Laughter rippled through the room. Our room. To new beginnings, he said. Her ex. Standing in the center of our freshly painted living room, beneath the chandelier I installed myself, smiling like he'd never left her bed, only taken a long walk around the block. I watched her from across the room. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Her fingers trembled on the stem of her wine glass, just enough to notice if you were looking for it. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A single message. From her. It's innocent. Please don't make a scene. I didn't reply. I stepped forward instead, smiled. The kind of smile that requires practice. Years of it. I shook his hand. Firm, polite, civilized. His palm was warm, confident. Too confident for a man who was supposedly just an old friend. I leaned in and said nothing. Because silence unsettles people more than anger ever could. She exhaled, visibly relieved. That's when I knew. Not suspected, not feared. Knew. The housewarming continued around us. Music low, candles burning. People admiring walls and furniture they didn't know were already haunted. I reached into my jacket pocket and felt the small box. The gift. Not for him. For her. And in that moment, while everyone toasted our future, I began planning my disappearance. She said his name too easily. That was the first crack. Like muscle memory hadn't forgotten him. Like he was still a reflex, not a relic. He just happened to be in town, she said later, when the guests were distracted by dessert. I nodded. I always nodded. That night she slept beside me like nothing had changed. I stayed awake, listening to the rhythm of her breathing, counting the seconds between lies. Her phone lit up at 2:17 a.m. She didn't move. I did. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. The name flashed across the screen anyway. His. No last name, just a first. Intimacy doesn't bother with formalities. I felt something cold settle behind my ribs. Not pain. Alignment. The past started rearranging itself in my mind. Moments I dismissed. Smiles that lingered a second too long when she talked about before. Her sudden insistence on hosting the housewarming herself. I thought it was pride. It was nostalgia. Or worse, I said nothing the next morning. Kissed her cheek. Made coffee. Asked how she slept. She lied without blinking. That impressed me. I began to wonder how long she'd been practicing. I became a ghost in my own life. Present, observant, silent. I didn't confront. I collected. Phone records were easy. Shared plan. Shared passwords. She'd never imagined she'd need to hide. Late-night calls. Short. Frequent. Messages deleted, but metadata lingers like fingerprints. I watched her habits change. The way she dressed when running errands, the way she checked mirrors, the way she suddenly rediscovered lipstick she hadn't worn in years. I followed once, not closely. I don't chase, I observe patterns. She met him at a cafe across town. Neutral ground, coward's choice. They sat too close. Her hand brushed his arm when she laughed. Not accidental, never accidental. I took photos. Not because I needed proof, because I wanted precision. At home, I behaved exactly the same. Predictable, safe, reliable. Men like that make women careless. Inside, my thoughts sharpened. I didn't feel rage. Rage is messy. I felt strategy. I contacted a lawyer, quietly. Transferred assets, quietly. Booked a one-way flight, quietly. Switzerland doesn't ask many questions if your money is fluent. I ordered the gift. Custom-made, engraved. Something she'd recognize instantly. Every move was deliberate. I wasn't losing my life. I was editing it. I chose the moment carefully. No shouting, no audience, just the two of us at the kitchen table. I slid the envelope toward her. Photos, phone logs, dates circled in red. Her face drained of color. She didn't cry right away. She stared, as if the truth might dissolve if she didn't acknowledge it. How long? I asked. I already knew. She whispered his name instead. That told me everything. I placed the small box beside the envelope. Open it, I said. Her hands shook this time. No restraint. Inside was the key, engraved with the coordinates of a villa overlooking Lake Geneva. And a note, for your new beginning. It just doesn't include me. She looked up, panic flooding in too late. You're overreacting, she said. That was her final mistake. I stood, calm, centered. I shook his hand, I said softly. In my house. She collapsed into tears then. I felt nothing. I left the next morning. No farewell speech, no explanations. I blocked her number before the plane reached cruising altitude. 2 weeks later, the call came through anyway. From my daughter-in-law. Her voice was sharp, entitled. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. She shouted, laughter echoing behind her. I smiled. Enjoy, I said. Then I hung up. That night I posted photos. The villa, the mountains, the view that looked like silence made visible. My phone rang. Once, 10 times, 71. I didn't answer. I never would. I wake up now to stillness. No lies breathing beside me. No history clawing at my back. Just air, light, control. Sometimes I think of her face when she realized she'd lost more than a marriage. She lost the audience. Revenge doesn't always roar. Sometimes it disappears and leaves the echo behind. I didn't crush her with anger. I crushed her with absence. And that is something she will feel every single day.